Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, the fight for equality continues.
Ano ba ang banyo ng babae? Ano ba to exclusive club na dapat membership ka? Why is it such a big deal? Tayong lahat naman, alam niyo yan, mga kapwa babae, papasok tayo sa banyo, papasok tayo sa cubicle, hindi naman tayo nagpapakitaan ng kung ano-ano.
Lawmakers set to probe a mall incident involving a trans woman that went viral on social media.
Pinapatunayan itong insidente na hindi totoong internalized na ng ating lipunan yung anti-discrimination at yung pagkakapantay-pantay.
Prompting calls to pass an anti-discrimination law.
It should be, while kinoconsider natin yung rights ng LGBT, hindi lang yung LGBT rin tingnan natin, yung straight din tingnan natin kung apektado.
But in the absence of a SOGIE law, what protection can members of the LGBTQIA+ community get under our current laws? Bataan 1st District Representative Geraldine joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. The transgender woman prevented from using a female restroom in a mall in Quezon City accepts the mall's apology but adds justice must be served. Gretchen Diaz says what happened to her should be an eye-opener to discuss the plight of the LGBTQIA+ community. Lawmakers have expressed support for the passage of the anti-discrimination bill, but some senators say that it should benefit all sectors and should not grant special rights to a specific group. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Bataan 1st District Representative Geraldine. Congresswoman, so good to see you again. Welcome back.
Good morning, Pinky.
You know, you were possibly the first official to see Gretchen Diaz when this thing happened.
Yes, I think, well, that's right. I was already about to sleep in my condo unit, and I was already dressed in my house robe. Nakadaster na ako, Pinky. And then all of a sudden, there were several calls from several advocates, one from even coming from the Netherlands, and then one from Bokal from Bataan, asking me to rush to the police station, at least to provide moral support to Gretchen, and to at least, they said that if the policemen saw an official of the country, maybe they would respect Gretchen more.
As a transgender woman, how did you feel when you saw this happen or when you realized what was happening to Gretchen?
Nung napanood ko yung video doon sa Facebook, naginit ang ulo ko. Sumama ang aking kalooban because no one, whether transgender or LGBT or just your plain citizen, should be treated with so much disrespect. She was humiliated, and when I saw her in the police station, well, she looked tired and harassed, and you know, at least I was there to provide moral support to her.
But she's got a pretty, I have to say this, medyo maganda yung ugali ni Gretchen in a sense that, you know, after all this, you don't see any anger, you know, spite.
Yes.
In fact, she was calling on netizens to stop bullying the janitress.
The janitress.
She went that far.
Yes, even during the ordeal, she was grace, the epitome of grace under pressure, like a title holder that she is, no? And she kept her calm, and that is how we prove and show to everyone that we should treat everyone, our fellow Filipinos, with respect.
Let's just look at the flip side, Congresswoman, because you have a janitress who possibly, this is just all mere speculation, trying to what appeared to be, you know, trying to also protect, for example, the women's bathroom, thinking that hindi dapat pumunta si Gretchen doon. So to her, possibly she was doing something right. Questions, of course, on how she handled it, what she called Gretchen, etc.
The verbal abuse.
The verbal abuse was really
inadmissible, right?
a little too much, yeah. But in a situation like this, you have the janitress also saying that, eye-opener po ito. At ngayon, gusto kong pag-aralan, ano nga bang karapatan ng LGBTQ plus community? So, may nakikita ba kayong kagandahan na lumabas from this incident?
In fairness to the janitress, she admitted that there is a lack of knowledge, and this is the truth. There is a lack of awareness, and this highlights the need for gender sensitivity courses. You know what, Pinky? The mall is located in Quezon City, where there is a gender fair ordinance. And one of the provisions of that gender fair ordinance, aside from providing for a gender-neutral bathroom in big establishments like this mall, is the administration of gender sensitivity courses. Yes,
They need
have
to be trained.
Yeah, they need to be trained.
Yeah.
Meron pa nga tayo sa pamahalan, di ba, yung GAD na sinasabi, no? Gender and Development. Wala namang mawawala sa mga companies and establishments if they let their employees, whether direct hires or outsourced employees, undergo gender sensitivity
Congresswoman,
courses.
it's really about time for everyone to be a little bit more knowledgeable about the LGBTQ community. Panahon na po para dito.
Panahon na. It's time to dispel the old stereotypes. It's time to open our doors to fellow Filipinos who just happen to be members of the LGBT community.
Gretchen is saying that she will still pursue cases against the mall. Do you support this?
That's what I heard. Yes, I do. I
Why?
do support her. Why? Because the filing of cases would serve as an example. This will highlight, of course, we do not know what will the final outcome will be, but this will at least raise consciousness among the citizenry that these acts are possibly illegal.
You know, some people were questioning why Gretchen was also taking a video of this, saying that in the security area, bawal din po yun. How do you actually strike a balance? Let's say you're the victim or you're the seeming victim. Siyempre, tayo lahat gusto natin kunan. Normal na yun eh. Parang that's the age
to
of
protect
taking...
ourselves. You know, in the age of mobile phones and social media, it's one way of protecting ourselves. I know that there could be a possible violation of privacy laws, but she was informed, she was aware, and ang problema nga lang ng janitress, nakuhanan yung the very moment when she was verbally abusing Gretchen. Hinampas pa nga eh. So wala nang justification doon.
Okay, let's listen to... Gretchen was a guest here last night. On the record, let's listen to what she said.
My live video, if you would notice, it starts with a question so that it will be documented. Ate, bakit nyo nga po uli ako dinala rito? Ano po ang violation ko? Ano po ba nagawa ko? Then, in-approach ako nung janitress na nagdala sa akin doon. Sabi niya, ang sagot niya sa akin is, tandaan mo, and then the body part of a male, may ganyan ka pa rin. Ba't ka nag-video ngayon? Gusto mong sumikat? Hindi kasi sikat. Kasi hindi ka naman maganda, hindi ka artistain. And then, she was saying na, sige, i-share nyo, i-like nyo para sumikat yung baklang yan. So, I felt like that experience is something that is a representation of how we are mocked, how we are being harassed every day. That video is a whole picture of how we've been treated in the society, and yet we keep silent. Right? We've been asking questions because it's confusion. It is confusing. Why are you doing this?
Alright, yun nga, may na-mention kasi na meron ka pa rin body part dyan.
Yes, oo. Napakabastos nga eh, di ba? Why do you even have to make that point, no? And say that word? That is irrelevant, really. You know, Gretchen dresses as a woman, behaves as a woman, and she feels secure in a lady's comfort room. And that should be no big deal. I mean, malay nyo, at sa kasalukuyan, at present, when you go to a ladies' room, one of those beautiful women you see actually has a male body part.
Yeah.
You can't say. That is precisely because when you go to a ladies' comfort room, you go to a cubicle, and nobody sees what you do behind. Hindi naman tayo nagpapakitaan ng body parts dun sa loob ng CR ng babae.
I remember you mentioned that. You know, when you look at this, this started because of a restroom, but the challenges faced by members of the LGBTQ plus, actually may IA plus community, that's possibly just one of them. So you have Quezon City that mandates, you know, gender-sensitive bathroom or, you know, a unisex bathroom siguro, ma'am. Paano ho kaya yung, let's say, concern ng iba na wala na silang espasyo, for example, especially in Quezon City, let's say establishments for that matter. Let's be real here, na wala na silang espasyo for an extra bathroom. I mean, I'm just going to start with this, but this has to be a bigger discussion after the break. Ano ho kaya ang pwedeng solusyon kung wala ng space?
When you cannot allocate another space for an entire bathroom, you can allocate space for a cubicle. In fact, in our version in the lower house that was approved last October 2017, unanimously, the SOGIE Equality Bill states that you have to allocate a cubicle for trans women in the ladies' comfort room.
So sa ladies' comfort room, kailangan may isang cubicle doon para sa transgender women.
Normally kasi,
And or women, transgender women.
yes, NPWD.
I see. Okay,
pwede.
doon yun. Yeah. Paano po sa male? Do you see that as a problem?
In general, ang nakakaroon ng problema are trans women. You know what, if you're a trans man, well, science and medicine hasn't gone to that point where the surgery is perfected. They still go to a ladies' comfort room.
Yeah.
Kasi baka may mangyari sa kanila sa male comfort room. So, ang may problema talaga ay trans women. Kasi damned if you go to the ladies' room sa kasalukuyan at present, damned if you go to the men's comfort room. Because there, you're exposing yourself to unnecessary risk. You know how some boys are, at hindi ko naman po nilalahat. Merong mga lalaki na talagang mahilig mambastos. Meron ding mga lalaki na, you know, want to bully members of the LGBT community. Can you imagine Gretchen entering a men's comfort room? That would make the men there feel awkward kasi bihis babae na siya. Astang babae, she speaks like a woman. So tapos papapuntahin mo dun sa men's comfort room.
We'll be taking a short break. The future of the SOGIE bill. And of course, let's look at the other side. When they say that if you need to protect the rights of transgender women, how about the rights of the rest? This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Bataan 1st District Representative Geraldine A resolution, you filed this already Wednesday, I believe, together with the Makabayan Bloc. I guess it's just my question is, this is obviously in aid of legislation, but you already have a SOGIE bill. What do you want to find out from this hearing?
Well, we have the SOGIE bill. It was approved on third reading in the 17th Congress, but it didn't make it in the upper house because, well, a few senators tried to delay it until the 17th Congress was over and they eventually killed the bill. Now, what is the use of an investigation in aid of legislation? Well, when we listen to the victims in the setting of a committee hearing in Congress, we are actually making their declarations official and we are opening the eyes of my fellow lawmakers to the need for a national piece of legislation that will address this specific type of problem.
So it's almost as if to encourage them more to support this bill, even if it was already supported in the 17th Congress.
Well, we also have newcomers in the 18th Congress. And,
but you don't need to refile this really, no, Congresswoman,
No,
because
we
meron
have
kayong bagong rule. You have a new rule.
we have to refile it. Well, the rule says, this is Section 48, if it was approved in the previous Congress on third reading, it can skip the committee hearing part and go directly to second reading, which is the period of amendments and debate on the floor.
Yeah. Ibig sabihin, mas madali na. Hindi ka na back to square one. Andun ka na midway. Doon ka na ulit mag-uumpisa. Who are you inviting? Who are the most important people to show up during this hearing?
Well, definitely, that would be Gretchen Diaz, the victim, as well as members of the LGBT community, prominent members and advocates, possibly this on the side of the LGBT community. And then also there would be representatives from the establishment, also from the mall that we're talking about, and well, this at first would be the representation and the list of guests.
Congresswoman, while the bill needs to be discussed before it actually hurdles again the 18th Congress at the House, and it still needs to be discussed because it wasn't passed at all at the Senate. Are you hoping that you have LGUs that will implement ordinances of gender, some sort of gender equality? I ask you that because when you say Quezon City, they feel, the LGBTQIA plus community feel that they're safer there.
Yes.
And yet this happened. So number one, the ordinance was not implemented correctly because if I'm understanding it well, this ordinance was back in 2014.
Yes, and recently they came up with the implementing rules and regulations. So I think the failure, without wanting to discredit the champions of equality and those who pushed for the passage of this ordinance, is the lack of information. You know, they should have carried out an information campaign involving all of the establishments and all parties concerned. So,
you know, Congresswoman, I say that because if it's an ordinance that people are happy with, in other words, batas po yan ng LGU.
Yes.
So sana, sa akin lang, first, kung batas siya, there has to be the right information dissemination and implementation. Sayang pinaghirapan po nila, pinasa po nila, but it's not naman really implemented.
well, as I said, as we have agreed upon, this is an eye-opener.
Yeah.
Even the officials in Quezon City have admitted that, well, this will serve as a learning experience for everyone. But you know what, Pinky? As we speak, there are more and more LGUs that are adopting an anti-discrimination ordinance. I think the count as of today would be around 15 to 20 LGUs.
Really?
Yes, cities such as Lawag City, Naga City, Quezon City, and more and more adding, more and more LGUs are being included in the list.
Well, the bill is still going to be heard. Let's go to the Senate because this did not pass the Senate during the 17th Congress. You have some senators giving already their sentiments on this. First, Senate President Tito Soto asking, why call them LGBTQ and then IA+. Let's listen to what the Senate President said.
Why not
Gender
20 letters? Why not just Homo sapiens?
Hindi po sana kailangang mag-segregate, Mr. President. I agree with you. Kung yung human civilization natin at mga societies natin, pati Philippine society, nag-evolve to the point na walang diskriminasyon.
Dumadami din ho talaga yung letters doon sa LGBTQIA.
Because that only proves that human sexuality is a wide spectrum. It is not binary. Just like in creation, you know, we have so many species of flowers and, well, this is nature. This is what there is. Now, with regard to the comment of the Senate President, Homo sapiens, well, it's very funny. Well, but it's not serious, really. There are Filipinos who just happen to be lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, intersex, asexuals, pansexuals, and queers. Yun lang yun. As simple as that. I know people might get intimidated by the number of letters, but you know what? This is the richness of variety that exists in nature.
Does it matter to you, LGBTQIA+?
You know what,
Baka mamaya,
Pinky?
di ba? I mean, they make a joke. Some people make a joke out of it already.
Well, if it serves the purpose of opening the eyes of people and teaching them that there are people who are lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and so on, why not? But I am against labeling. What I want to highlight here is that they are all Filipinos who have rights that have to be protected. Hindi como sila ay LGBTQIAP. Hindi na sila proteksyonan because to my knowledge, there is no law that will protect them. Look at what happened to Gretchen. Not only to Gretchen, but also, do you remember the incident with Kalad Karen? She wanted to enter a bar and she was barred from entering that bar.
That was the first one, yeah.
That was the first one. So, yes, labels are there and they serve a purpose, but ako, gusto kong ipaalala sa lahat ng tao na tayong lahat ay mga Pilipinong may karapatan.
Okay, here's the point now. Tama ho kayo, lahat tayo Pilipino may karapatan. You have senators saying, Senator Mig Zubiri saying, it's time to discuss the SOGIE bill.
Yes.
Or he said, let's do a happy compromise on this. Senator Bato de la Rosa saying, may karapatan din yung mga conservative. Let's listen first to what they both said.
That could be a happy compromise because in that bill, LGBTQ are also represented in that bill. All questions on gender equality, nandun address din po yan ng bill ni Senator Angara. Kasi marami akong kasamahan or a few of them nagsasabi, bakit sila lang meron? Bakit yung mga kapatid natin Muslim wala? Bakit yung mga iba't ibang grupo na political views wala?
Paano yung mga lalaki na manyak? Ha? Mga manyak, papasok doon sa CR. Magsuot siya ng, magpabakla-bakla siya. Magsuot siya ng suot ng babae. Mag-ayos bakla. Papasok doon sa loob ng CR ng babae. Tapos gagawa ng kalokohan doon sa loob. So, those are things that we have to consider in crafting that law. Kailangan, it should be, while kinoconsider natin yung rights ng LGBT, hindi lang yung LGBT rin tingnan natin, yung straight din tingnan natin kung apektado.
The reaction of Congresswoman Geraldine Roman after the break. Magkasinabi mo ba yun?
Actually,
You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Bataan 1st District Representative Congresswoman Geraldine Roman. So, doon na po tayo kay, I was watching Senator Bato de la Rosa. Hindi ko malaman kung nagagalit ho kayo o palagay nyo may punto si Senator Bato.
actually, Senator Bato de la Rosa has a point. We have to listen to all parties concerned. That is how we craft a well-designed piece of legislation. Tama nga naman, we have to address the concerns of women. Let's say in the case of ladies' comfort room, which we want to open to trans women, genuine trans women. Hindi lang yung nagpepeke. Because ang sinasabi nga nila, meron daw mga manyak na maaring magbihis-bihisan ng babae at pumasok sa comfort room ng babae para mag-sexually molest ng mga kababaihan. But honestly, Pinky, kung ikaw ay isang sexual predator, don't you think that ladies' comfort room would be the last place you should go to? You know, you run the risk of being lynched. Baka maraming takon ang bumaon sa bunbunan mo pag nag-sexually molest ka sa isang banyo. And if you really want to sexually molest a woman, why go to a ladies' comfort room where there are many women around? Maybe why not wait in a dark corner, in a dark alley?
Yeah.
That's highly improbable, really. I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's highly improbable. So, tama, papakinggan natin. Alam mo, mga trans women, in general, I'm not saying all, are attracted to men. So when they go to a ladies' comfort room, they wouldn't want to see the private parts of other women.
Yeah.
And besides, that's impossible. You're in a cubicle. How can you possibly view?
Hindi naman kasi bukas ang
Hindi
ladies'
naman.
restroom compared to
Men's comfort
restroom.
room, which is also a good point.
Yeah.
Pag sa men's comfort room, papaihiin mo pa yung trans woman.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah. Yung sinasabi po nila, Congresswoman, why not just pass an anti-discrimination bill? Why must we have a particular bill that looks into the rights and protects the LGBTQIA plus community? Why do you need to be very, special?
It's not being special. Well, I could also answer your question with a question. Why is there a Magna Carta for women? Why is there a Magna Carta for people with disabilities? Why is there a Magna Carta for children, for overseas workers, and for different sectors that have been traditionally marginalized in our society? Mga kababayan, hindi po kami nanghihingi ng mga special rights and privileges. Kaya nga lang po, talagang may isang sektor na may special na pangangailangan na hindi natutugunan kasi nung araw hindi naman natin naintindihan.
At hindi tanggap.
Hindi tanggap yung LGBTQ. Wala pong masama na magkaroon tayo ng isang specific law that will address the needs of the LGBT because meron din silang special needs.
So what is your stand on an anti-discrimination bill in general that will include, provisions of the SOGIE bill? Or do you feel that the SOGIE bill needs to be separate?
I feel it has to be separate. For the same reason that we have the Magna Carta for women and children, which is not to say that we did not file in the lower house a comprehensive anti-discrimination bill. I have filed a bill that will protect Filipinos from discrimination on the basis of age, physical appearance, religion, health status, and other possible motives for discrimination. Ginagawa natin yan. Pero hinihiwalay ko po yung sa LGBTQ kasi iba rin ang kanilang circumstances.
Congresswoman, in other parts of the world, is that, I guess, accepted or normal na meron pong sariling batas ang LGBTQ
Yes.
plus? Yeah.
Well, I'm familiar with the situation in Spain. They have a special law for LGBTQ plus. And also in some states in the United States, you know, it's a normal practice. So we wouldn't be the first, really, if we passed the SOGIE equality bill.
Some, before we say goodbye to you, some are saying that such a bill, a SOGIE bill, is possibly a prelude to, you know, other bills in the future, such as possibly same-sex union. What do you say to that?
They are totally unrelated. Totally unrelated. So the fear is baseless, you know, and it is misinformed. So I want to reassure our listeners, our televiewers, that the SOGIE Equality Bill is not same-sex marriage. It is not a prelude to same-sex marriage and other measures. It's totally different. It's simply the right to work, to study, to receive services from the government, to access commercial and public establishments and facilities, and to be spared from insults on the streets.
Now that it will be again discussed, are there provisions in the bill that you feel need to be changed? Or can it stand scrutiny on its own right now?
Well, it was passed on third reading. The version that we have refiled is the version that was passed on third reading in the 17th Congress. Well, from my point of view, I'm happy with it. But of course, we're open to amendments. And of course, we have to listen to all parties concerned. We're very open-minded, really. This is how we come up with a bill that is respectful to all parties concerned.
So we'll see what happens. There will be a hearing in aid of legislation. Sabi nga ni Congresswoman Geraldine, natapos na po yung composition ng mga committees at the lower house.
Hindi pa tapos. We're still constituting our committees. Malapit-lapit na. We have named our chairpersons and vice chairpersons and some members, pero hindi pa rin kompleto. I expect na matatapos itong election of members to different House committees by the end of this month.
By the end of August. Congresswoman Geraldine Roman, good to see you again, ma'am.
Thank you,
And
Pinky.
we will continue to monitor the developments, of course, of the SOGIE bill. Maraming salamat po sa inyo.
Salamat.
Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.